Next, we're going to cover the product loading procedure. This will be performed prior to pump calibration and dispense operations. You'll want to perform it after the cleaning procedure if you're trying to maintain product specificity. The required materials are a 9/16 open-ended wrench, formulated product up to 1,200 milliliters per batch, and a glass beaker. Optional items are a stir rod and a silicone scraper. Begin with a clean reservoir. It should remain in place in its holder while loading your oil. And remember to never disconnect the reservoir electrical connection while the heater power is on. First, remove the top clamp, gasket, and bulkhead from your reservoir. You can use a screwdriver or your 9/16 open-ended wrench to help loosen that. And set your clamp to the side. So your reservoir bulkhead and the gasket is attached to it. It may be on the bottom as well. Next, you'll want to carefully transfer your prepared and preheated oil into the reservoir, making sure that the gasket area remains clean. And you can utilize a stir rod and/or silicone scrapers to transfer your oil into the reservoir. Once you've transferred your oil into the reservoir, you'll want to replace the gasket, the bulkhead. It helps to have the nitrogen line, the 90-degree nitrogen line pointed towards the back of your jet fueler, and the clamp. Ensure that the clamp is secured tightly to avoid any leaks under pressure. Sometimes it helps to take a screwdriver or your 9/16 open-ended wrench, and just giving it another half turn. Ensure the black knob on your nitrogen regulator is in the closed position by turning it counterclockwise until it stops. Once closed, you can connect the pneumatic coupler on your nitrogen line to the pneumatic plug located on the reservoir. Ensure that the reservoir power and temperature wires are connected to the jet fueler. It's the black barrel connector on the back, and it only fits one way. The locking ring should be tight. The temperature will display -15°C on the operations screen of the jet fueler if the reservoir is disconnected. With the nitrogen regulator valve closed, open the primary valve on the nitrogen bottle, that's the gray knob, by turning counterclockwise. Inspect the right-hand dial to ensure that the bottle has pressure, and you'll want to inspect the regulator for any leaks. Next, slowly open the regulator, that's the black knob, by turning it clockwise to the right to pressurize the reservoir to about 25 psi. You'll turn until you get resistance, and that's when the pressure starts to increase. If any leak occurs, immediately disconnect the reservoir from the nitrogen supply by pulling the quick connector, then clean any leaked product, retighten the clamp, reconnect your nitrogen, and repeat pressurization. Operating pressure is typically between 20 psi and 60 psi, depending on product viscosity and operating temperatures. The dispensing valve is maximally rated for 100 psi, though it's not recommended to exceed 60 psi. From the operations screen, turn on each of the 3 heaters by clicking the toggle button underneath each temperature readout dial. If the system is totally cold, allow your jet fueler to preheat for at least 30 minutes before proceeding. Once your jet fueler has finished preheating, position the beaker below the needle and click the bypass button underneath the pump position display. This will allow the product to flow through the product line using only nitrogen pressure. Click it again to stop flow as soon as product is steadily flowing into the beaker without bubbles. The oil line is now primed, and the jet fueler is ready to proceed with the pump dispense calibration wizard.